I've never seen that hardcover. That's that guy Trinde I was telling you about. I met over at the UCLA book fair.
Anthony Sutton.
It's a reprint of his original book on the Skull and Bones boys.
Really?
You know, George W. Bush and Kerry, all members of the same grouping.
50.
That's right, they are.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
hard to...
They're all related back somewhere.
Hard to think of them all together.
You want a bag?
I mean, that's a quick sale.
Yes.
Okay, before we start, I want to ask you a little bit about what you want to get out of this, because eventually down the road it should be good for the bookstore. And I've already, I think I'll be writing a piece called Support Your Local Bookstore, which will be sown. I did want to talk a little bit about Ken and have you talk about it. And then do a short bridge from that to the bookstore you have now, and the relationship with Ken and also with his daughter. And we can mention the, you know who.
Right.
Yeah. Okay? If you don't mind.
Easiest thing is if you ask me.
I will.
things. I mean, I'm very bad.
I'm very good at asking. I know exactly what I'm doing. I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything you don't want to do.
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Right. So, your last name is?
Paeper.
Okay, and it's kind of ironic that,
I know. It's fortunate.
that you own a bookstore with full of paper. Yes. But it's not spelled P-A-P-E-R.
P-A-E-P-E.
Right. And you come from where?
From Amsterdam. I was born in Amsterdam, but I came to the States about 35 years ago, so I've been here a long time.
And I met your mom.
Yeah.
And so, did she come first?
She came first. Yeah, I came afterwards. No. I mean, we
You
came together. Yes, I was part of the furniture at the time. I
Oh.
didn't have. I wasn't old enough to resist.
Right. And you have actually a sort of dark background in relation to the politics of the day when, in your Mother's Day anyway, that you were in Holland when the Nazis came in.
No. I'm not that.
Not your mother, though.
My father.
Your family.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, he was in a concentration camp as a kid,
Yeah.
which he survived.
Mm-hmm.
And his dream was always to come to the States, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wanted his children, you know, it's one of those America with a K
Yeah.
stories.
Kafka.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's this whole idea that some Europeans had about, you know, about the U.S. as a country where, you know, those kinds of things or whatever it is that happened to them, where they were picked up at home and taken to a concentration camp, where in the U.S. it wouldn't happen again. So he wanted his kids to grow up in an environment where that was unlikely or less likely to happen.
Right. So you actually were educated here?
College, grad school.
And so you went to high school in
Well, I went to high school here for a very short period of time, to Beverly Hills High,
Oh,
of all
really?
places. Yes,
my daughter went there.
for 6 months
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. The Annenberg family all went there.
Right.
Did you know them? Or?
I know some people, yes, some people that married into them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually worked with Wallace for a while. Okay, so this bookstore is a very special place. It's on Sawtelle in West LA. John Bercovici lives across the street. It has a 40-year history going back to Ken Heyer, I think.
50 years.
50 years.
Right. 1959.
And let's see.
This is my phone. This is the world that we live in. Even
Yeah,
the
this is
used
the world we
bookstore,
live
the
in.
bookstore.
It's pretty loud. It's okay. So,
Turned it off.
1959, Ken started this place.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he started across the street where the 7-Eleven is now. I think that's where he started off, and then don't know exactly when, but he moved here relatively soon after.
Okay, and he actually trained you too, or basically you worked with him? For a
Yes,
while?
for a while.
Right. And when was that, Brian?
Started working with him maybe 13 years ago, something like that. Worked
So
with
around
him.
1999.
Right,
Somewhere around
right.
there.
We worked with him for a couple of years. And then he wanted to sell. He wanted out. He'd had enough. And,
He was an expert in Henry James, as I remember, and a collector. And you were a collector. And didn't it start out with you trying to sell his collection? And
or sell my own collection, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to leave Los Angeles in the States, and I wanted to go back to Europe. And then I'd asked Ken if he would be willing to take my books on consignment and sell them for me. And that didn't happen. Instead, I ended up helping him selling his books for him. This was the beginning of the internet, so we decided to put some of his books online together with my books. And so then
he was a much beloved bookseller. I came in here many, many times, and I always enjoyed, I usually bought books, and much to the horror of my wife, but I also enjoyed talking with him. And he was an expert on the history of selling books in Los Angeles.
Right.
Told me many secret stories about people during the Depression and so on and so forth. So that was kind of interesting. What would you say you learned from him in terms of running a business? Because bookstores now are going out of business everywhere.
Right.
And you've opened too, you and your brother.
Right, right. What did I mean, first thing was that it is a business. That there is, no matter how much you love books, care for books or whatever it is, if you want to keep the store open and to keep it going, you have to run it as a business. It is I mean, it's something like, so he took some of the romanticism out, because we're all book lovers, are romantics. I mean, there are very many people that just say to themselves, you know, once I retire, I'm going to open a bookstore. I mean, I hear it all the time. And some people end up doing it, and then they open the bookstore, and a couple of years later they close the bookstore, because it wasn't, I mean, again, the business part of it surprised them.
And the hours are very long too. I mean, people don't realize how many hours you put in a week just sitting here, or being in the back, or hiring people to sit in for you.
Sure.
It's expensive.
Sure. I mean, it is like any other business where the overhead is extremely important. I mean, it is, and I think that he helped me deal with my romanticism without giving up my passion. I mean, which for books.
And in fact, you rent this facility now from his daughter.
Right. I mean, she inherited, after he passed, I mean, she inherited the building. And it is, and she didn't raise my rent. So so I'm fortunate in that way. I mean, that she understands, she cares for both. And,
What do you think's special about this particular neighborhood? First of all, it has a very famous movie theater that, you know, has all kinds of movies around midnight and all kinds of crazy things that go way back to the 60s. It's not very far from the Brooks Hotel, where some very famous, infamous people live.
Right.
It's not very far from the VA hospital, which gives you another kind of clientele. But really a very interesting neighborhood. You kind of shuffle up the cards and they come together in a very special way. I can remember almost every time I come in here, I meet somebody very, very special. What is there about that?
I don't know.
Ken said that too.
Right. I think it has to do with books, and I think it has to do with used books, the used bookstore environment that people enjoy, that attracts particular people that need to get away from whatever it is that's going on out there. into the bookstore, and I think there is.
And one similarity I can see from the time when Ken was here and the current day is that the shop is very neat, and you also leave a lot of space on the shelves.
Right.
Why do you do that? Why don't you jam books in to the point where people have to
I
pull
don't
them out?
know, because I do feel that it is my job. I mean, you know, I have my particular tastes and opinions about what books I think people should focus on. I mean, there's just too many books out there, and I think it's, so I am a bit of a curator, and I am a bit of, and it is, I don't mind that. I like it myself, even if people disagree with the books that I pick, and they say, well, he doesn't stock this or he doesn't stock that, that is okay. I mean, meaning then they, you know, they can go somewhere else, but this is, I think there is a, although it is a general use bookstore, there is enough. I mean, it's still focused on literature, the arts, photography.
Which is
film.
what Ken did. Also.
Right, exactly, yes. So there are particular strengths and weaknesses. I mean, I'm weak in self-help. That's it. Just because there's just too many books, and there's too many books out there. And, it doesn't interest me.
Does it help to have the movie theater around the corner?
Absolutely.
I mean, do people cruise in here?
Absolutely.
The environment is very pleasant. I mean, people who come in here, they remember when Ken was here, he would sit in that chair, and there'd be a chair always here where people could sit down and talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
You also have parking in the back, which is a real help.
Right.
And also, you've got that little apartment. Ken owned that too.
Right.
Is that still rented out?
It is rented out to a lady who takes care of the plants around the building and inside the store.
I see. Is that
So we have an arrangement. I pay the water bill and she does the plants.
We'll be able to see what the average customer is like in this particular neighborhood, walking around from Santa Monica Boulevard South, or
I mean, there's a lot of, still get a lot of people from UCLA and from Santa Monica College, and we do get a lot of students. We get a lot of teachers. Beyond that, I don't know if there's really an average customer. That's the great thing I think about the used bookstore, is that it's just attracts very many different individuals. I mean,
you have any famous people currently who come in? I remember one time Ken told me, he said he had a whole wall of leather books, and it was a famous rock group. The guy, it was named after this guy. I forget the name of the group, but the guy bought all of the leather books.
Right.
And Ken said, well, why do you want all of them? He said, well, I just want them for a decorator to put them on a wall of my house. Do you get that?
Yes. Set decorators come in here, sure, and they want books by the foot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just part of the used book business in LA, which is okay. I mean, that's fine.
Right.
But there is, who comes in? David Mamet comes in quite a bit, quite often.
He lives in this neighborhood, I think.
Yeah, I think he lives in Santa Monica or Venice. Then there is, who else comes in? Peter Bogdanovich.
Peter Bogdanovich? Oh my God, how interesting.
Trey Parker from South Park.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that I don't know because I don't watch television. So then other people tell me, "Oh, that was that person, or that was that person."
Yeah.
But since I don't watch television, I don't know how
It's one of
famous
the.
they are.
It is one of the few used bookstores that specialize in literature, photography, theater, so on and so forth, design, art, on the West Side. And
Right.
of course, with the closing of Borders, with the closing of one huge Barnes & Noble, this is actually a real benefit to your business.
Yes, to a degree it is a benefit, but it's not to a benefit of books. I mean, meaning that there is something about, you know, people say, you know, you become the last man standing, but who wants to be the last man standing, because it's a lonely place to be.
That's true.
You're just standing there by yourself.
Although there is another bookstore down the block.
Right. Somebody just opened up a bookstore called Sideshow right down the street, and it's great.
So it must be symbolic that they must be looking at what you're doing here,
right,
and thinking this guy's making a living, and people are going in there and
I think it's
support your local bookstore. I mean, it's more and more like people who love books and want to, you know, grab hold of the latest novel by Alias or somebody else, you know.
He comes in here, Bret Easton Ellis.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I picked up a signed copy of one of his books. What is he like? I thought he lived in New York.
No, he lives here in
American Psycho.
Right.
God,
right.
we were just talking about that.
Yeah. He's pretty shy. Doesn't say much.
That's wonderful. I had no idea.
I think we went to college together. But I mean, he went to the same college that I went.
Which was
Bennington College.
That's right. He did go to Bennington.
Right.
And he got into that special class as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
He was writing this stuff, and the teacher said, "This guy's so good, I'm going to take him into my advanced class."
Right.
And then he got him an agent. So by the time he was out of school, I think he had his first book.
Right. There were several.
That's so exciting. See, we never would have known that. We were just talking about that crazy book. I mean, American Psycho is a great satire.
Right.
It's as good as Candide, and that's saying a lot.
Right. No, it is a good book. I mean, at the same time that Bret Easton Ellis was there was another writer, Donna Tartt, who wrote the book Secret History. Have you ever read that?
That one.
It's pretty interesting, though. I mean, it was because she. It's a murder that actually takes place at the college.
Really?
It's not based on a true story, but she did use some of the...
Spell her last name.
T-A-R-T.
T-A-R-T. Donna Tartt.
Right.
No, I don't know.
He's a good writer.
In the days of Ken, you had a very magical person come in here.
Right. I mean, before...
And I'm going to shut up, because you got to tell this whole story.
Well, it is...
right? Now, make sure I shut up.
Okay, shut up.
Go ahead.
Ken, I mean, this was before my time. Ken, he told me that many years ago that Angelina Jolie and her mom used to be regular customers of the store. They used to come in together, and then Ken would make suggestions on what he thought a young girl should read. And so this is something that went on over the years. I mean, and she, you know, so they build up some kind of a relationship. And there are several letters that Angelina Jolie wrote to Ken, thanking him for his suggestions for the books. I mean, about the books that she read, and that she enjoyed his suggestions, and she was happy that he had a bookstore where, you know, where you could come and somebody would tell you, or at least point you in the right direction on what to read.
For all of us who are admirers of Angelina Jolie and never cease to amaze at the amount of good that she does out there in the world. I saw the great film she did last year, Blood and Honey, I think it was called, about what happened in Serbia, and the relationship between a Muslim and a Christian who were in love with each other. You know, typical. I mean, it must have been very exciting to actually see the letters of a young girl.
Right.
And knowing Ken, who was a wonderful, gentle person.
Right.
That's a tremendous tribute to him that she would do that.
I think so.
I wonder what she would think today if she were to see those letters again. You know, Ken's daughter owns these letters.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, she inherited, his, you know, store, his papers and things like that.
Right.
And I think she has some of the letters in her possession.
Okay, well, I have one more thing to ask you. That's what you think the future will be for this particular bookstore here on the corner of Sawtelle and Santa Monica Boulevard. You can take a walk down the street and take a look at it. And other bookstores that are struggling to stay alive.
I mean, it's very hard to make any kind of predictions. I mean, I think again here, I think this store will remain here as long as I have a friendly landlady. Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't raise
Yeah.
the rent? I mean, because this is West Los Angeles, so it's a relatively
Landmark, you take a look at that magnificent Barnes & Noble there,
right.
and the landlord squeezed those people out of business.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
that was a wonderful place. You go to the movies, and then you go next door. Now it's some kind of I don't know, a place that sells furniture or something like
Right.
that. What a tragedy. They have very intelligent people in there that could order books for you. They had huge amounts of magazines, brand new books as they came out, book signings and so on and so forth. Now it's all gone.
Right. I mean,
So, and you're here.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but again,
And you do a lot of buying books too.
absolutely, yes. Anybody who is who needs to get rid of books or wants to get rid of books, you know, bring them by. We'll have a look. I mean, it's but we are selective. I mean, that's the part of it, and I
There's a
think
lot
that's
of
part
junk
of
out
the.
there.
Yes, there is a lot of junk out there. I mean,
Yeah.
meaning and junk for us becomes unsaleable in this particular
Right. Okay, well tell me two more things. First of all, how did you come up with the name Alias?
Alias is my son's middle name.
And,
That's it.
And why did where did your brother open his bookstore, and how was he doing with that?
2.5 years ago, my brother opened a bookstore.
His name is?
Patrick Paeper, and he opened a bookstore in Atwater Village on Glendale Boulevard, and it's going well. I mean, again, he found the overhead is okay, meaning affordable, so that he can survive. I mean, we're selling books, we're not selling diamonds or expensive clothing
Yeah.
or whatever it is. I mean, it's just, so those are, but it's a good neighborhood, a lot of younger people, a lot of foot traffic in the particular stretch of Glendale Boulevard where he's at.
A wonderful little Iranian, we found out today, a restaurant right down the block over there. Sells pizzas and other
Right,
things.
right.
Yeah.
That's it.
You walk south, you find a whole Japanese community, Japanese Americans who've been here forever. You got a post office nearby, a lot of two good theaters, the Royal and
The Royal and the New Art.
the New Art.
And then there is somebody opened a touch vinyl record store right next door, just
And also excellent
few
DVD
months ago.
place too down there. So
right, the Cinephile, with the video store at the corner.
yeah. So, and you can get here by bus actually. So thank you very much, Brian, for a wonderful afternoon here. It's sunny outside in West LA, and it's only the 3rd of January,
I know.
where the rest of the world's shivering, but we're having a great time, and we'll come back many more times.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
How was that?